Mike, guitar. Tony, guitar. Steve, bass. Dave, drummer. Aaron, of course, vocals.
It's management, really.
Me and Tony started jamming, about 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Maybe even longer?
Years. Yeah, screwing around at first, apartment stuff. In the apartments, jamming on amps and amps.
From jam spot to jam spot. doing a lot of crazy stuff with different people. Then we got in here. And actually Steve's band was sharing our room with us when we first moved into Meatlockers. And after a while, Steve became our bass player. That was after Luke, though. Luke was our bass player, Luke Boss. Yeah. We had another guy on drums, and we started writing songs, and those guys kind of disappeared.
Things didn't work out or whatever.
Things didn't work out. Steve was there to fill the slot. We found Dave, or I should say Dave found us.
So whatever worked.
And Aaron was just there to fill the slot. It was exactly what we needed as far as the front man. We were actually in Meatlocker Seven.
Way down there.
Meatlockers.
Right in the toilet, sir.
This started out as a joke, and it kind of stuck.
I thought it was pretty cool.
It's great because, you can let loose anytime you want, 24 hours a day. Well, we used to hang dead meat in our room in the old days.
Yeah, there's some old meat hooks about
cow corpses.
50 years old to 100 years old.
The whole facility with all its jam rooms. They're fairly affordable. You get 2 or 3 bands per room. And there's 20 rooms in there. And everybody's jamming. It's doing a lot for the scene, opening it up a lot more. We haven't really played that many shows, 2 or 3 all ages shows. And it's mostly due to the fact that they haven't been coming up. And finally, there's a few things happening. Sancha Hall, which was kind of neat. It was a big crowd.
Big rumble?
Big place, big rumble, but again, it got ruined, right? It took years for the city of Sydney to start accepting bands there again. Because every time it happens, something goes on. And sure enough, there's, a great big rumble. And the last band, Malevolence, didn't get to play that night. Which, it really sucks, but I guess that's part of the music too, right? It's aggressive music, and that's going to happen.
That was poor organization.
There was poor organization. There was lack of security. The security was drunker than most of the crowd. They weren't noticeable. They weren't wearing any shirts or anything that would sort of identify them.
That's the thing. You see the bar shows, and they put on shows lots before. They're organized. They have their bouncers.
Well, the bars have the bouncers.
But the thing is, half the people there are sort of more concerned with a place to get drunk as opposed to seeing the bands, whereas all ages, there's nothing else for them to do inside except for watch the band. That's what
the younger crowd really gets into it. Heavier moshing. It's a lot more fun.
I prefer
all ages, definitely. A lot of the problems in the past with all ages shows have been the city shutting them down.
Well, if you had an all ages venue where shows were played there all the time, it'd be a lot easier because you would have control and you would know who the troublemakers are, instead of having all ages shows as isolated events. 2 troublemakers show up, ruin it for everyone, the place won't have shows anymore, it's over.
Right.
As opposed to a place where you can have shows all the time, iron out the bugs, be given a chance to iron out the bugs, and then have a smooth running show. It's not like we're the only city that doesn't have all ages shows. Every city has all ages shows, and we have such a problem with it just because it's not given a chance. And I think having a venue where all ages shows were played, I think there would probably be a lot more support for it. A lot more people you see people go to shows for the first time and they have no idea what this was all about, and they're thinking it's great. We should give them more of an opportunity. And it's good to see young kids coming out that are into heavier music instead of, as I said, into rap. I'm not talking about separating the 2 different scenes. It's just good to see kids coming out and paying their money to see heavier bands.
Definitely.
And seeing young, heavy bands playing for that matter. And the Demonation band was impressive.
Yeah, totally. Pain Face, Camel Clutch.
There could be more support between bands though, more members from other bands coming out to shows to support everyone, and it just makes the scene stronger.
Just a lot of bands battling for a very small crowd.
It would also be nice to have someone bringing in the better known heavy bands, to the city. There are a few places for them to play. The Limit's opening up their doors to a lot of shows, as is Wastelands, and there's there's bands from all over the world that they play in Vancouver and they don't bother coming over. There's a lot of bands, you know, like you see Deicide play Vancouver, but they don't bother coming here. Not that people won't come out to the shows, it's just that those bands aren't being informed by anybody out here, by promoters. There's people that want to see them. I mean, when Napalm came with Brutal Truth, they sold out. The place was packed. Same with Entombed. Never seen the Forge so packed as that.
Yeah, everybody made money.
And it gives other bands an opportunity to play, you know, and sort of get known.
Well, we see an upward surge in metal. It seems to be getting more
great.
popular. It seemed to drop off there when there was like the punk and then the hardcore and then the metal, and then it all sort of slammed all together, and then there was, you know, that was like sort of the peak of metal, you know, just sort of near the late 80s, and then all of a sudden it just sort of diminished to a small group. And now people are finally starting to come up with some newer sounds, you know, like Pantera's sound, they got their own sound, and
Fear Factory.
Slayer's got a new drummer.
You know, they've come up with, you know, a different sound for them anyways.
A little more universal. It's not appealing just to your like sort of stereotype headbanger crowd anymore. It's appealing to a lot wider crowd, broader
It's just more
range.
aggression than
It's
metal
not, you know, like heavy metal or black metal or speed metal. It's just aggressive music, you know, and people are digging that nowadays. I mean, even the mainstream music is getting more and more aggressive all the time, it seems. Even as far as rap, which is aggressive in a different way, but, you know, it's still aggression. More of a street level aggression, but, you know, it's more and more people are getting into different types of music as opposed to just one type of music. You know, 10 years ago, most of your metalheads only listened to metal or some of the harder rock and roll.
Mission of Christ, MOC or whatever, playing with Armoros, and that used to be guaranteed fights.
That's when they just fucking explode!
Or you'd have like the Dayglows playing with, you know, a metal band opening, and it used to just be fights constantly. The rockers would show up in the rat's nest, you know, scary things like that. But it's not really like that anymore. It's more aggression towards the music as opposed to aggression towards everyone else. Everybody takes part in everything.
Me and Tony and Steve take care of most of the riffing, and we all sort of contribute to the lyrics.
All sorts of different things. Violence, hunger, pain.
Earthquakes.
Eating dead bodies.
I think corruption, all sorts of stuff.
Serial killers.
All been said before, just in a different way.
It's a convoluted thing. That's what I think.
Mind current.
There's an energy we all ride, you know, we come down here and jam out and we all feel better, you know. It just so happens to be that we have enough songs and we have our shit together a bit, we can go out and play some gigs. And, you know, people show up to the gigs and they mosh, they get into it.
The ultimate high is playing a show and watching a mosh pit in front of you. I think that's why people join heavy bands. And that's the appeal.
It's a great way to, you know, travel.
I don't particularly enjoy recording. Jamming's alright.
Jamming's alright.
Jamming's
Playing
sort of
live is the high.
Making up new songs is what's, when it's completed, is what I like. But most of all, it's playing the shows.
Jamming
shows.
Playing
Pretty much
shows
the
is the ultimate high.
If we didn't play shows, I wouldn't bother being in a band.
We're presently in the middle of recording the CD, which is, the studio is actually just in the Orange Building right there, right behind you.
Mine's too
Mine.
It's our first recording.
Very, very
Yeah, we all,
first.
everything came through at the right time.
We had the money and we decided
We got enough money,
to
we
go
decided.
for it. Phoning up people and going, yeah, well, we don't have any tape or nothing, and we sure would love to play. They're like, yeah, well, we'll call you.
Yeah, exactly. You need a product. Mike Dick from Stark Raving Tattoos done some
Yeah, he's done some
designing for us with our logo. He's taken our chicken scratch that we did and
Done all our tattoos too.
did some artistic
You gotta show yours too. Did you?
Do that a bit slower.
Stark Raving Tattoos.
Oh, get the logo out there.
Yeah, show the logo.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike's got a
I
cool
got
one.
another one on my back.
Yeah, this is the logo.
That's actually our logo.
Come and feel the vibe. We're Meatlocker 7.
Good vibe.